Welcome to Anthony's Outdoors. As you can see, we got ourselves a new boat. And today we're going to do a little walkthrough and talk about all the features of this brand new boat. Those of you that have been following the channel know that we've been using a pretty old boat for every one of our trips over the last few years. Now, the old USS Puddle Jumper did us real well. We caught thousands of fish out of that boat. But it was finally time for us to upgrade. On our last trip, on our drive home, Courtney finally said, I want a new boat for muskie opener. So I got on the horn, started making some phone calls, and we knew exactly what kind of boat we wanted. We were looking for a Crestliner Fishhawk. We weren't exactly sure if we were going to go with the 1750 or the 1850 yet. Really depended on what was going to fit in the garage. So had to take a ton of measurements just to make sure, and it turned out the 1750 Fishhawk is what we had to go with. We had to act really fast. We had 2 weeks before our trip up north for muskie opener, and we searched online, found a dealership that had exactly what we were looking for, all the specs, everything we wanted, and made a phone call, and we were able to make it happen. So big shout out to Ken Sports up in Kaukauna, Wisconsin. We are not sponsored by them whatsoever. Just a shout out. Those guys were awesome. Did a great job getting the boat ready for us when we needed it, and a really fair price considering all the other places that we had looked. So this is a 1750 Crestliner Fishhawk Platinum Edition. We're going to do a quick walkthrough of all the compartments and everything, and see what you can expect if you were to get yourself into a boat like this. Alright, starting up at the front of the boat, we went with the Terrova 80-pound thrust. The reason we went with the 80-pound thrust Terrova over the Altera was they were practically giving these things away. We got this thing for $200 added to the package price. The Altera would have landed us somewhere around $2,200 to $2,500, and we were like, you know what, for 200 bucks, we'll take the Terrova. That's what we had on our old boat. It worked great, super reliable, no issues, so we said, let's go with the Terrova. Let's save ourselves some money on a trolling motor, and so far it has worked flawlessly. We got our little trim setting up here. That's a huge bonus on this boat. That's pretty standard on most boats nowadays, but you got to remember the boat I was coming from was a 1988 smoker craft, and was really limited on features, and a lot of the lakes that we would fish, I would have to constantly trim up and yell at Courtney, hey, trim up, trim up, trim up. But here, I could do it right from here, and that's awesome. That's an awesome little feature. Moving back here, obviously carpeted front deck and back deck. The lower area is going to be vinyl. So to the left here, we got ourselves a big storage container. This thing is surprisingly large. So that's a tease tackle muskie bump board. Got some life vests in here, whole 9 yards. I mean, you could fit a small child in here if you really had to. It's a lot of space for tackle, rain gear, whatever you need. Then transitioning over to the other side, we have another hatch, a little smaller, but still tons of storage in here. Got life vests, throw pads, my fire extinguisher, all my safety and signaling gear for the boat. Make sure you guys have all that stuff on your boat so you don't get a ticket. And it's going to be hard to see, but it goes all the way to the front of the boat up here. So there's quite a bit of space in there and more room to spare. Working back a little bit further, here is one of 2 live wells. So this one up front is a little smaller. I forget the actual gallons. I think they have it labeled as like a 12 or 15 gallon. I can't remember. But this one we've decided is going to be our dedicated cooler. Yes, you heard that right, a cooler. Now, on our old boat, we had no live wells, so having, one live well is a huge benefit. But now we have 2. And we don't really fish with a lot of bait. We typically fish with a lot of lures, as you've seen on the channel, but we do fish with suckers in the fall. But this one, we're going to use specifically as a cooler. No fish will ever go in this one because once they do, they get kind of grody. So we tested it out. This will hold 2 5-pound bricks of ice, a 30 rack of Bush Light, and a bag of ice, and still have plenty of room to spare. And it kept ice and everything cold for 3 days, and there's no extra insulation or anything going on in there. It just worked really well, surprisingly well, with those blocks of ice, keeping everything cold. So looking forward to using that. Over here's our plug. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Yeah, there's our plug right there. That's for charging batteries on the boat. Nice and tucked away, and nothing to get tangled on, which is nice. This boat is loaded with cup holders. I feel like everywhere you look, there's a cup holder. There's 2 back there, straight back, which is obviously a nice feature to have. We did go with the dual console, full windshield for this boat. Not exactly the best musky fishing platform on the 1750. That's just the side console. This is all casting deck here, but in the past with the old boat, Courtney was getting absolutely just annihilated by wind and rain and bugs to the face, and she would literally turn facing backwards anytime we went full speed anywhere. So having this windshield just makes for her life and any other passenger's life a whole lot easier and safer, mind you. Next, we've got another huge upgraded feature that I did not have on the old boat, and that is somewhere to properly store rods. So in here, we've got our rod locker. Yay! I've been wanting one of these. This is a huge selling point for me. Obviously, most boats nowadays have this, but not having a rod locker on the other boat was a real pain in the butt, and we'd have to wrap the reels in plastic bags whenever we would go somewhere, just so the reels would stay clean and not get covered in road grime and dust. Now, the one downside is I've only been able to fit an 8-foot rod in here, and all my musky rods are longer than 8 feet. So that's kind of a bummer. But all of the bass rods and pike rods fit in here, no problem. Got my light, navigation light in there, and my push stick in case we get stuck on a sandbar. And then below that is your batteries and your onboard charger down below that. Stepping back onto the passenger side, we've got a glove box, and this thing has a ton of room. Now, because of the lighting, you're not going to be able to see in there, but I am all the way to my armpit deep in there. That's how far forward that thing goes. Tons of storage in there. It's awesome, and it'll keep everything dry, which is awesome. That's dry storage in there. Below, we've got a little vacuum that we use. That did not come with the boat, but below we've got a nice pull-out locking storage compartment there, drawer, and then to the left, this is where I keep the musky rods. So 2 on the boat right now, but they tuck in underneath there. Got straps to hold everything down. Another cup holder. Awesome. In here, more storage. This runs pretty far deep. I can't open it right now because the rods are in the way. That's a downside, but we can live with that. But you can put a paddle in here if need be. Rain gear. More rods. More rods will fit in there actually, and it runs pretty far up to the front of the boat. Now moving over to the driver's side, got your typical console steer situation going on here. Tilt steering wheel, got a radio. I don't usually listen to a whole lot of music while fishing. However, for like trolling purposes or just cruising around, having a few drinks, this will be nice. These gauges, they're not the greatest in the world. They're borderline useless in my opinion, so we will be getting Mercury Vessel View, where I can hook up my phone via Bluetooth and get all the real-time data off the engine. We've got a brand new Helix 10 side imaging and down imaging. Really nice unit. It sits really well in here in this this area that they have cut out for electronics. So that's nice, out of the way. On my old boat, I had a little swivel situation up here where I would swivel it when I was up front and then swivel it back when I sat down. It worked. It was, you know, no issues with it, but this is just nice having a unit at the console and a unit up front. Here's your typical, you know, all your switches and fun stuff, your live wells, your bilges, your courtesy lights. So this does have some accent courtesy lights built into the floor so that when you're fishing in the evening or at night, no issues there. 12-volt plug, more cup holders if I'm ever double fisting or triple fisting. I can have 2 there, 1 up there. Another glove box, locking glove box drawer situation here. Got some extra parts, some cameras situation, and musky release tools in there. And those lock, those are nice. Spinning around to the rear, we got a little compartment down here. Another cup holder. That one's kind of useless in my opinion back here. Don't worry about that. That's our fishing bag. Speakers. And then we've got 2 rear flip-up seats. They're actually surprisingly comfortable. They don't look comfortable, but they're actually not bad. Flip up, flip down, stand on top of them, no big deal. And then extra storage under each of them, like so. Again, a lot of storage on this boat. Really liking that. And then here is our bigger live well. This will be used for keeping our pike and suckers, and you can even put a divider in there if need be. Really nice system. You can just fill this. You can either, you know, fill and plug it, or you can fill and just let it keep aerating and overflowing the entire time, keeping your bait and your catch nice and fresh. And then, you know, for the big reveal, we've got the Mercury Pro XS 115 on the back of this boat. This thing is super, super quiet. Really impressed with how quiet this thing is. We came from an old 2-stroke, so the new 4-strokes are awesome and quiet. Really fuel efficient too. Gets on plane really easily for this size boat. And we've got just a you know, normal prop that comes on this thing. We may upgrade in the future, but a lot of lakes we fish using just an aluminum prop is probably safest over the stainless steel props. Now, the one feature we didn't expect to get, but was on this boat being a Platinum Edition, was this. And excuse the footprints, but this is a little swim platform here. So that makes getting in and out of the boat super easy for, you know, when you're out swimming or whatever. And then it also comes with a ladder that pulls out and pulls down. So that was a nice little feature that we didn't know we were getting, and that came on this rig. Now we're on the outside of the boat here, and we got some flip down, tie down cleats. Those are cool. Here's that platform again with the ladder, motor, fun stuff. APX hull, Ken Sports, big shout out. Thanks guys. You guys did awesome on this boat. More flip down cleats, single axle, trailers included. Good times, good times. Here's your fill port for your fuel and your overflow. Try not to overflow. And yeah, I mean, other than that, the only 2 features we didn't go with on this boat were, you know, they've got that new system where you just pull up and drive in and it clamps on. Forget the name of it. That's a cool system, but again, that was going to add quite a bit of money to the overall package, and we needed this boat as quickly as we could get it so that we could get out fishing. But yeah, she's a nice boat. We love it. It's super smooth. Full throttle, this thing, you can still have a conversation with somebody next to you and not have to scream like we used to in the old boat. So that's really nice. That's a really nice feature, that's being able to talk. But other than that, yeah, not too shabby. Oh, a couple things. This boat, when it's on plane, does about, you can be on plane about 22 miles an hour, which is a really nice just cruising speed. Saves a ton of fuel because you're like half the RPMs. You can have a normal conversation and not have to be screaming, and it's awesome. Even at full throttle, you're not screaming. You can talk even at full throttle. Full throttle with me and Courtney and all of our gear for a typical day out fishing, we were able to hit about 40 miles an hour. So not bad. Now that's in glass calm conditions, but not bad for a 115 and a really wide boat like this. So this has got a 96-inch beam here. So almost, it's like 22 inches wider than our previous boat. So we have a ton more space than we are used to. And we intend to use every square inch of it. Now that we have this new boat, I've got some really fun and exciting news coming up to the channel. I'll be putting out a separate video about that, but please make sure you stay tuned to that. If you like this video, if you like the walkthrough type stuff and the breakdowns, hit that like button, comment down below on what else you'd like to see about this boat, and you know, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And as always, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for our exciting news in our upcoming video.